Welcome back everyone. So in today's video I will be showing you how to connect DBT Cloud with Redshift data warehouse. I will also be showing you how to connect DBT or integrate DBT with GitHub, and this is going to serve as your version control environment. Alright, so again, as you can see in this diagram here, we do have three essential services. So we have DBT Cloud, we have Redshift data warehouse, and we have a GitHub environment. So we do need to set up these three environments, and the first one that I would like us to start with is Redshift data warehouse, and then we will create our repo, and then we'll go over to DBT Cloud and do our integrations. Okay, so let's go over to Redshift now, and for that I will go over to my AWS environment. And as you can see here, I'm logged into my AWS environment. If you do not have a account with AWS, please go ahead and sign up, and they do give you free credit for, I believe, over 1 year. So do that, and then once you do that, log in, and this is my AWS console now. So what I would like to do from here is basically go over to Redshift. So I'm going to search Redshift here, and then just open this in a new tab here. And as you can see, this one is bringing me to my serverless dashboard. This is Redshift serverless dashboard. I previously have created I have previously created a serverless environment, so I do have videos for those. So if you are interested on how to create or provision Redshift serverless environment, I will put the links for those in the description so that you can follow them. But this is my serverless Redshift now, and what I would like to do from here is to go over to my work group. So I'm going to open this one in a new tab, and this basically contains the information for our Redshift environment, including the endpoints, the URLs, for JDBC, ODBC, and all of that, and also the security configurations, network and security configurations, and all of that. So one thing that you will want to do here is to make sure that your Redshift has public accessibility. So if you don't have public accessible turned on here, you can go ahead and modify this, and just if the box is unchecked here, just go ahead and check it, and then save the changes. It's going to apply the changes to your environment, and then make the accessibility for public on right here. Okay, so it's basically going to switch on the public accessibility. And then the other thing that we will need to do is to modify our security group, but we will not do that right now. We will come back here after we go over to DBT. So I will just want to show you where in DBT this information is valuable, and then we'll come back and modify this. Okay, so just make a note that there's one more thing that we need to do here in the security group, especially so that DBT Cloud can communicate with our Redshift environment. But before we do that, let's do one more thing. So let's log into our Redshift data warehouse, and for that, just come to the navigation menu here, just expand this, and then Redshift serverless provides you with a query editor, online query editor that you can use to run your queries, right? So basically that one is this one, version 2. Just open that. This is going to open a new query editor, and the first time you do this, it's going to ask you to log into your environment. So all you have to do is put a login information, basically the username and the password that you use to log into your Redshift environment. And once you do that, you just need to expand here, and I'm going to do that, and I will expand here. So you can see here I do have a number of databases created here, and the one that we'll be using in this video is this one for dev, and this is basically the one that we created when we were provisioning our serverless environment. So I'm not going to use any of these other ones that I created after that. I'm just going to use this one, and as you can see, I do not have data in this environment right now. Basically, I do not have tables, so we only have one schema here, public schema, and this is a database that we'll use to set up our connections to DBT Cloud in this case. Now, if you want to use a different database, then you can specify that when you are doing a setup, or just go ahead and create a new database. And then when we are doing our setup from DBT Cloud to Redshift, then we can specify that database as our destination database, or the database that we want to connect to DBT Cloud. Okay. All right, so that's all we need to do here. So we have our database created here. Now the only other thing that we will want to create from here will be the endpoint. Okay, so just we'll come back to this page here, but now let's go over to DBT Cloud. Okay, so this is my DBT Cloud account. I'm logged in. Again, if you do not have an account with DBT Cloud, all you have to do is go to getdbt.com, and I will put this link in the description, and navigate over to try DBT Cloud for free. And then if you open that, it's going to ask you to sign up. So basically you do need to enter your email address. You need to enter your your name, your first name, last name, company information, your password. Go ahead and create this account. It's going to send you a email to confirmation email. So just need to confirm that email, and then you should be able to log in, right? Now with DBT Cloud, it gives you 14 days for free trial, and then after this you will need to either downgrade to or switch basically to the developer edition, or switch over to one of the other plans that DBT provides you. And I think that information might be here. Yeah, so you can see that information right here. So you do have the developer edition, which is free, and then for the themes one, so you can see this one is free forever, but the limitation is this one will only give you one seat, right? So this is only available, this only gives you one seat. And then we have here the theme plan here, which is which gives you up to 8 seats, and then we have the enterprise plan here, and this is custom number of developers. So I think this is basically limitless. I think you can get as many seats as you want. Okay, so again, I'm using this one. I already exhausted my free trial, and therefore I am logged into my dashboard here, or to my DBT Cloud environment. So what we want to do here is to now make the connections to our Redshift. Okay, so before we do this, there's one more thing that we forgot to do. And if you look at our diagram here, we do need to integrate DBT Cloud with GitHub, right? So before we go ahead and create our connections, because this step is going to be useful in our setup, we want to make sure that we have our repo ready. And for that, let's go over to GitHub, and I'm also logged into my GitHub here. Again, if you don't have an account with GitHub, please do go ahead and sign up, and then log into your account and navigate over to repos. And here I'm going to create a new repo here for this demo, and I'm going to call this one DBT Cloud, and we will call this one Redshift. I'll just call this one repo. Okay, again, this is just for demo purposes, and I'm not going to add any description, but please do go ahead and do that. And then let's go ahead and create this repo, right? So this repo is ready now, and let's now navigate over to our DBT Cloud environment. So what I like doing is to configure the integrations with GitHub account, because that's going to be necessary later in the video when we make our connections. So I'll just go over to my account here, and then go to profiles, and then we want to link into our GitHub account. So you can see here, this one links for me automatically, but the first time I believe I did this, it was asking me to log into my GitHub account. So if you just follow the steps, and then you will be able to log into your GitHub. And then from here, we do need to configure now the DBT to communicate to our repo. So just go ahead and hit that, click configure here, and we do need to give access, write access to that repo that we just created. So you can see I do have these repos currently. Again, I mentioned at the beginning that I have done a comprehensive video for this setup, or if I didn't, there's a video that I previously made where I went through the comprehensive process, right, of setting up DBT Cloud with Redshift. And for that one, we went through the entire process, including how to actually transform real data that is within your Redshift environment using DBT Cloud. So for that, I used this repo here, and this repo is available for you, and I have also linked it to the video that I released previously. So if you're interested, to go ahead and check that video. Now again, these are previous repos that have access to this environment. So we are just going to give now access to that new repo that we created, and that is this one right here. Okay, so I'm just going to select that, and we will just go ahead and click save here, right? And now we have our DBT Cloud integrated with our GitHub account, okay, or our GitHub repo. Now from there, we just need to go back here, and we have our integration ready now. So the next thing that we will want to do is to create our connections. So there are a few ways of doing this. You can go through projects, or you can go through connections. I usually like beginning with the connections first. So we will go over to connections here, and then we just want to create connections with Redshift data warehouse in this case. Okay, so now this step here is going to be very important, right? So before we I walk you through these IP addresses and how to modify them, let's go ahead and grab our endpoint, right? So for that, just go over to your serverless workgroup, and then copy the endpoint right here, and then just bring that over here and paste it right here. And basically we just want to remove the port number and the database. The port number here, you can put it here. By default it is 5439, and then right here you do need, it says optional here, but you do need to put it, at least from my experience. Okay, so just put the name of the database here. Again, we mentioned that the database that we want to connect to in Redshift is this one for dev, right? So this is this one here. So this is where we want DBT to be writing our transformed data to. Okay, so we have this database here now, and if we scroll up here now, if you try to make this connection, right, if you try to make this connection to Redshift without modifying your security groups, it's going to fail now. And that was the step that I mentioned that we need to come back to, modifying our security group. We basically need to modify our firewalls within the security group that Redshift uses to accept connections from DBT Cloud. Now DBT Cloud uses these IP addresses, and this might be dynamic. So if you sign up with DBT Cloud, just make note of the IP addresses that are listed for you. I don't know if they are the same for all the users. Maybe it's different for me, and it's different for you and all other folks. So we do need to add this to our inbound rules. So I'm just going to copy this. We just need to copy this tree, and what we will do is go over to our Redshift here. So if you go to your serverless and scroll down under network and security, you will see the security group that your Redshift environment or Redshift data warehouse uses, right? So just click that, and this should bring you to the security group within EC2, and all we have to do is click into this ID, and now we want to modify our inbound rules, right? So just click edit inbound, and what we want to do is to add this rule, and the rule here that we want to add is for Redshift, because we want to connect to Redshift, and all we need to do is basically paste those IP addresses. So the DBT Cloud IP addresses. So just paste that right there, okay, /32. So that's the first one there. We need to grab the remaining two. So we go back to our dashboard there, and then grab the other one, and then we just need to add another one for Redshift. So the reason we are adding Redshift is because this connection will be from DBT Cloud to Redshift data warehouse. Okay, so we have added the second one, and then we need to do the same thing with the last one right there. Okay, so this one here. Now I think it says, or I think so, that means that maybe you can try with one of them. I'm doing all of them, but if you can try with one and see how it works for you. yeah, I'm just doing all of them so that I don't need to come back and modify this over and over, right? So I will now add the last one here and then add it here /32, right? So we have added now all of those three IP addresses, and that is pretty much it. So just go ahead and save those rules, and now we should hopefully be able to connect to our Redshift environment from DBT Cloud when we test this connection. So let's go back here now, and again we have entered our endpoint here, right? So we have entered our endpoint, looks good to me, our port number and our database. Okay, so now let's scroll up here and save this connection. Okay, so that looks good. Now let's go back now to projects here, and we do need to create a project. So I'm just going to delete this project here, and then what we want to do is to create a new project. You can name this project, you can change the name. I'll leave it as analytics. And then now here we just need to select the connection that we just created, and we name that on Redshift. And now as you can see down here, we need to enter our like login credentials. So you can see the authentication method here is username and password. So now for the what we need to do here is basically enter the name, right? The one that we use to log into Redshift. Okay, so I am using admin, and I will put the password for that one here. Okay, and then now here you can see here that this one is suggesting for you the schema that will be created, and basically this will be the schema that DBT will write our transformed models to. Okay, so this is basically using my username, but if you want to write to a different schema, so basically for these scenarios you can create your own schema within Redshift and then just come here and specify that right here. So you can delete this and replace it with your actual schema, but in this scenario I'll just leave this as it is. What this one is going to do is it's going to create the schema for us within Redshift, and as you can see here, we do not have we only have public right here. So what DBT will do is under dev environment, it's going to create a schema with this name here, and then it's going to write our models too, right? So it's going to build the models inside this schema. Okay, so that is I'm just going to leave that as it is, and then I will leave the target name as default, and then for the threads, let me just leave them as 6, but you can reduce them if you like, right? And then from there we will just go ahead then and test the connection. So I'm just going to click test connections for this. Okay, so I keep hitting this, and so this one is not doing anything, and the reason for this is probably because it's using a stealth project. So I'm going to refresh this, and if I try this, it's usually does that. So I do need to log out. I'll log out and just quickly go through that, because I think it's still reading to my previous credentials. So every time it does that, I have figured out that the easiest way of doing this is just logging out and logging back in. So, or you can clear your browsing history. Sometimes it does, I don't know why. But so I'll just run through that very fast, and we will do admin here. We'll do welcome. Oh, I mean, we will do the password here. And then yeah, so I will leave everything as it is. So yeah, okay, so the schema name now has changed here. So let's go ahead now and test here, right? So okay, so now this one is running through the test now. So basically it's going through the connections and everything, and as you can see, this one is successful. So the very important thing here is the IP addresses, right? So those ones are pretty important. So you want to make sure that you add those ones to your security group, because if you don't, then you will run into timeout issues. So if you add those IP addresses within your security group, then and you put the username and the password that is correct, then most likely your connection should be successful. All right, so here we are done here, and we are able to connect to Redshift. So then just go ahead and click save here. and then after that we just want to set up our repo, and we already did that, so we just need to connect and select the repo that we will be using for our work. So in this case, we created this one here, so I'm going to select this as our repo, and then from there you can see it says our project is ready, and therefore we are ready to start our development. Now the nice thing with DBT Cloud is it provides you with its own IDE, or basically an online IDE, so you don't need to configure additional IDE or development tool to write your code. So you can basically do all of that within the cloud environment of DBT. So for that, just go ahead and click here where it says start developing in the IDE, and this is going to bring you to your cloud IDE right here. And from there we can now proceed and write our models. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do here for this is just go ahead and hit here where it says initialize DBT project. So just click that, and this is going now to create your structure right here. Okay, so this is your DBT structure, and again, if you have been watching my videos for DBT core, this is the same structure that comes with your initial configuration. So it gives you always as it is. So analysis, macros, models, seeds, snapshots, all of this is provided for you once you initialize your project. Okay, and when you walk through this, some of the important folders here that you can use, this one, models, will be the section where your select queries will be living. So basically this is where your actual models will be staying. And then seeds, this one is if you have any static or CSV files that you want to be part of your project or your tables, then you can put them here. And then your snapshots, this is where your type 2 logic will be going to. This is under tests, is where you put your custom tests, macros, if you have reusable functions that you want to use across your models. So basically this is how the structure looks like. And therefore since we have our structure created, now the last thing that we want to test is to run this and see if it's able to write these models to our Redshift data warehouse. So you can see we usually get a starter model, and this is basically just for testing purposes to make sure that it's working properly, and that's what we're going to do in this video. So if you click into this, you will see that this is a model that is basically creating a table. I mean, when we run this, it's going to be created as a model, and the records, these are the records. So just we'll get 2 records here, and then the second one here will just be 1 record that is selecting from that first record right here. So this is always a default and standard model that comes with DBT when we initialize it for the very first time. So I'm not going to modify this. We will go ahead and run this and see what happens. And if we are able to write to our Redshift, then we can now say that we are actually we have completed setting up our connection end to end, right? So let's go just quickly to Redshift, and if I refresh this, I just want to make sure that we do not have anything in that database. So I just want to show you under our dev database that the only schema that we have there is the one for public, right? So the one for public, we don't have anything else here. So now let's go back to our ID here, and the only thing that we need to do here is just go ahead and run dbt run, and dbt run is going to compile our models, and it's also going to execute these models and run them and pull them in our data warehouse, right? So you can see here we do not have any errors, and our first dbt model ran as a table, it's able to create it, and the second one also ran as a table, and it's able to create it within our Snowflake, our Redshift data warehouse. Okay, so if you're wondering why it's creating as a table, it's because first of all, under our dbt project YAML file, we have mentioned here explicitly that all of our example models should be materialized or created as tables. And also, if you go to the first model here, we have also specified here that this should be created as a table. Now the second one, we haven't done it, so it's going to take the project level configuration, right? There we go. So that's why it's getting created as a table. All right, so now let's go back to our Redshift environment, and let's refresh this and see if that if those two models were created and if the schema was also created. All right, so there we go. So you can see that this is a schema that we specified. This did not exist before, but DBT created for us automatically during a runtime, and it went ahead and created those two models as tables for us. So you can see we have the first DBT model created as a table here, and we can also fill this table, and you can see it. This should contain two records here, one of null ID, the ID of one, and then the other one is null, and then the second one was filtering, right? This one was filtering for only where ID is one. So if we check the second one here now, right, if we check the second one, let's see if we can select this one as well, the second one. This one has one record right here. So that means that our DBT now is able to write our transformed models or queries over to Redshift. And now from here, you can basically now explore this, basically just expand upon this and use actual tables within your Redshift environment, and now use DBT Cloud as your transformation environment. So you'll just come here and then modify this, create your models, and then execute run. It's going to create them for you in your Redshift data warehouse. Again, in the last video, I did the comprehensive video on that. So we went through the entire process. So we went through the setup, how to connect DBT Cloud to Redshift, and then also we went additional step of using tables or data within Redshift, and created our models within DBT, and we ran that, and we could see that the transformed models are getting written to Redshift. Okay, so I will not cover that in this video, but if you're interested, to take a look into that video. I will put the link for that in the description as well. Alright guys, so that's all I had for you in this video. I just quickly wanted to show you how to connect DBT Cloud with Redshift data warehouse. I know there are some folks sometimes who just want to know how to connect, and then the rest of the process they will take care of it. So if that's something that you are looking for, I hope this video was helpful. And again, if it was, please give it thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel so that you can stay updated when I release videos like this in future. Alright guys, I will see you then in the next video. Bye bye.